Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly update for July 10th, 2022. So, this was a really quiet week at work for us. As I said, Monday was the holiday, so we didn't work. And then a lot of people had this week off, or at least a day or two afterwards off, because it was connected to the weekend. So it just was really a quiet week at work. I got a lot of audiobooks done, which was really great because some of them were rereads. I wanted to make sure I got two, and then an extra one that I didn't plan on, but I just did. And then so that was kind of normal. And the weather's been really nice, and now it's going to go into, we're supposed to get, I think 100 degrees tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't looked to see how bad it's supposed to be. So I might be trapped in my bedroom come after work tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm not looking forward to heat anyway, but I'm all set now that I have a TV upstairs and, stuff. So, let's see here. So yesterday was my mother's birthday, so we did get to celebrate. She came up, my dad and mom came up and picked up my great aunt, and my brother and I, we met them for lunch, and so we had a good time. That's about all the time we had with them, but it was still a great afternoon, and so that was fun. I had to brave the mall to go get her gift card for stuff. So for her birthday, which was not fun. I did not like going to the mall. I was actually really surprised. I hadn't been to Washington Square in really a long time, and there's a lot of people there. I was really surprised. Of course, half the stores that I remember are not there. They're changing everything around because of stuff that changed during the pandemic. So I don't know what, there was just things were missing, and there was new things. Anyway, it was interesting, but I wasn't there very long. I just went in and out. But I don't like going to the mall. I'm definitely an online shopper, or what stores that are just where you are like strip mall ones, or you can just walk into the one store you want. Anyway, I think that's it. I do want to say that I have started using my library way too much. There's something about Jane Austen July, and I do the same thing in Nonfiction November and Victober, is I request all these books that I see on everybody else's TBRs, and which is great. I love seeing all the different things on TBRs. TBRs are my favorite videos to watch, just because they pop up books that I have never heard of that are related to certain things that, other things that I'm reading. And so, but I get click happy with my library and I start asking for them all. So I did bring a lot of books into my house from the library, which I really should be reading the books I have. I have plenty that I could read that's here, but I have used the library too much. I think I have 12 things out from the library right now, and I think I have at least 4 more that are Jane Austen July connected, and one of them I can pick up today. I don't think the rest of them are still on hold, so I might not get those. I don't know. And the one that's on hold is a nonfiction I really want to read, so I'm probably gonna go get that and read that here this week. But I have too many. I have a lot of books in my collection. I don't need to be getting that many library books. I'm trying to keep it. This year has been really good for me on keeping it pretty low key on what I get from the library, except for this month. I blew it out of the water and just got so many things. Anyway, so. Oh well, so you'll be seeing some library books. Again, I don't read everything I get out of the library. I'm very much one of those people who gets them on Mood and then checks them and see, oh, do I feel like reading that? No, then I'll just take it back. So anyway, well, it just never goes the way I think it's going to. I always think, oh, I'm going to be good this year. No. Anyway, I just request a lot of things. And again, you guys have great suggestions out there on your TBRs, so that's why I got them. So let's talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. I did finish 8 things. 2 of them are a graphic novel or a manga, and then 2 of them are novellas. So it's not like I read a lot of things. I did reread the three of the total things I reread. Yeah, 4 of those things I reread. So it was really a big high rereading month, but it's all for Jane Austen July. And if I didn't mention this, but Jane Austen July is again a month-long readathon put on by Katie at Books and Things, Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia at Spinster's Library. So again, I've taken part in every year they've done this, which is great. I didn't realize I'd done it every year, but I just love Jane Austen July. So the first book I finished was my reread of Heartstone by L. Catherine White. This is the first book in the Heartstone series. There's a trilogy, and you don't have to read on. I mean, it's a good trilogy overall, but I just love the first book. The first book is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but with dragons, and it has it where it's a different world, and you know, all the names are slightly different, and it tweaks certain things about the story into kind of a fantasy world. I think she does a really good job of taking the structure of Pride and Prejudice and changing it to a fantasy. I thought this is just a fun one. This is not like earth-shattering. It's just a fun ride. I love these characters, and I love revisiting them. I read this every year for Jane Austen July since I read it, I think 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. I've read it every year since then, and a couple of times sometimes. So I really enjoyed that. So that I reread and finished that. On after the holiday, Tia and the Books and I read the next book in the Hidden Legacy series that we are reading together this year. Diamond Fire is the novella that comes between the first trilogy and the second trilogy. So this is kind of our introduction to Catalina, who is Nevada's sister. So again, this is a world where magic came into being in the 1800s and has changed the landscape of the world. This is taking place in Houston, Texas. This is an urban fantasy. So people have magic and all different kinds. They have these established houses, which are, you know, dynasties of magic. And the first trilogy is really following Nevada as she is kind of brought in unwillingly to try to take down one of the primes, which is the high magic users, or the ones with all the power. And kind of as a last, she's, kind of just thrown to the wolves there, and then how she gets involved with all that. This is, again, following her. I don't want to talk about the plot of this one because it gives away some of the things from the first trilogy, so I'm not going to say anything, but it was just a great transition because the next trilogy takes place, I think, a little later, and it follows her Nevada sister. So this was a great introduction to her. I did like it. I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun ride, and it was kind of funny in places. I think this one had issues with there's too many characters that I didn't know who was who, because they're characters, a lot of them we never had met before, and it just felt like people, they're throwing names at us. But overall, I still liked it. I liked it within the world and the things that learned and what happened in the end on this one. So I do look forward to the next trilogy, which again, we will be picking up the next book in a week. I think on the 18th is when we start that buddy read. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. And then I think, was it that day or the next day? I don't remember. I can't remember if it was the same. I think it might have been the same day I finished Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I listened to this on audio by Rosamund Pike, and it was just a fantastic reread. I have bought, I think I showed you guys, I did get the annotated. Oh my God, Cooper. Must you? Cooper. Jeez. I did get the annotated just recently, so I think when I'm gonna reread it physically, maybe not this month, but fairly soon, because I want to see what the annotations say. But I listened to it on audio just because I wanted to definitely listen to it again. I really love the Rosamund Pike Audible version, so I really enjoyed that. Yes, Cooper, you're a love bug. Anyway, so I'm not going to say much about this. I think everybody knows what Pride and Prejudice is, and it is my favorite book of all time. So I think every time I reread it or re-listen to it, I feel the same way. It's just a great time for me to listen to this. I always pick up something new. There was a line or two that I picked up early in the book that I'm like, I don't remember that. And I had to, like, I was so surprised that it just never dawned on me how that was said. And so again, it was one of those things. This book I studied in college. I read it in high school the first time, and I still have that version, but I bought these ones last year, these new copies to read. But I also, as I said, I just bought the annotated. So we'll see which version. I think I'm going to, like I said, I think I want to read the annotated version next. So I don't know. It might happen by the end of the month. I don't think so, but I did really enjoy my audiobook listening to that. And again, I said work was really slow, so I did a lot of audiobooks. I mean, I was working but I didn't have a lot of interaction. People weren't there. So, I then listened to Lady Susan. Oh, you know what? It didn't tell me. It was a cast of narrators. I got the audiobook from my library, and I thought, I had read this. 2019 was the first time I'd read, actually, Lady Susan, the Watsons, and Sanditon. So I had never read them before that. It just was one of those ones I had to get a book for it because I didn't have it. Wasn't in my stuff. I don't think I knew much about them. I had the Juvenilia, but I didn't have these ones. So I'd gotten this then. And Lady Susan, I liked the first time around, but I didn't love. But I could see that it was different from her from her normal style. Listening to it was so fantastic. The cast was really good. I mean, they just made it was just fun. Like I actually kind of now want to watch Love and Friendship, which is the movie that's based off of this. I've never felt any inclination to do it. So I might try to watch that. I'm not positive, but Lady Susan is following Lady Susan, and it's her kind of dealing with family members and trying to get her daughter married, advantation. I can't say that word today. Yeah, it's not going to come out of my mouth right now, but you know, trying to get her daughter married, but also trying to get her she's a widow, so she wants to get her remarried as well, and it's her relationships with some people. It was just funny. And again, I really thought it, and it wrapped up pretty good, like what happened. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, so it was really great to revisit that. There, anyway, so I liked Lady Susan. That was only a couple hours on audio, so that was really fast and easy, and I did enjoy that. And then, the next day I finished Persuasion by Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion are my favorite books of Jane Austen's. Again, Pride and Prejudice is number one. It can't be unseated. But this, in my list of top 10, if I would redo it right now, I would acknowledge that this is actually on the list of my top 10 and much higher and very close to being number 2. Like, it is one of my favorite books of all time as well. And I just love revisiting this one. I think the last couple of years for Jane Austen July, I've listened to both of them every year. So it's great to come back to it. And this one I listened to was narrated by Julia Stevenson. So I would recommend her audiobooks as well. I've read other things, heard other things by her as well. Great audiobook narrator. So again, I don't have to say much about this because everybody's talking about this because of the new adaptation. So I have not mentioned it here, only because I always forget to, and I had to make a note to remind myself. But I will not be watching the adaptation. First of all, because I don't have Netflix, so I don't have access to it. Or I think it was on Netflix. Anyway, I'm not going to go watch it. Second of all, is I couldn't even finish the trailer. That tells you something. So again, I don't think I'm a purist in the fully. Like, I like variations on things, and I like some of the adaptations that have come through that are just slightly different, and they kind of tweaked it a little bit. Most of the time I'm okay with it. Sometimes with my favorite books I'm not. And I don't have a problem with breaking the fourth wall, whatever, and that part. I had problem with her. The scene that I clicked off of was when she cries out and drops wine on herself or something, like I don't know. It didn't make any sense. It was too comedic, and I'm like, that is not Anne Elliot. So I'm one of those, I think in that way, I am very much against this adaptation. I will not be watching it. I don't think I could make myself sit through 5 minutes of it. If I could not get through the trailer, you guys, I didn't even finish the trailer. I clicked off of it. I'm like, no. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Other people are going to enjoy it, and I have no problem with other people enjoying it. I just will not. To me, it hurt. It hurt me really deeply. Just the minute that I watched that trailer. Anyway. But it's because this book, to me, is so much quieter and subtle. It's not a rom-com. It's not like how it was. It's just, the moments are just so much quieter in here that are so poignant. There's some things that are funny because there's people who are just absurd, but it's just it's built so well, this novel, and it hurts me that, you know, she passed away before we got more books from her. Just thinking about what could have come after this, just in a Sanditon, like, just what could have happened in that novel. Like, it's just, Persuasion, again, is one of my favorites, and it's probably one of my only books I like that's a second chance romance. I hate most second chance romance books, mostly contemporary ones I do not enjoy. I have real issues with, usually because when they broke up, it was probably for a good reason. This is like one of the only ones that I don't know why it just gets a pass on that. Like, to me, not because I think it made sense more than any of the others. It's the way it's done. I don't know. There's just something, I don't know. I just think it's because the characters just call to me, and I feel for all of them, or especially Elliot or Anne Elliot and Wentworth. And I just, you know, there's just so much to this. I just love this book. And of course, you know, I'm just, anyways, anyway, I just want to mention that that's like one of my favorite books also. I also read the Marvel Pride and Prejudice version. I don't even know who this is. This was adapted by Nancy Butler and Hugo Petrus. So I like this and I didn't like this. Again, the style is very Marvel, so nothing was wrong with that. They changed just a few little things here and there. It was not a bad adaptation. It's just pretty forgettable. I think it was fine. I got it from the library, as I said. So it was a pretty quick read one night. I mean, it still took me a while, but, you know, like, it was, I mean, I think it was much more for me to notice the differences was easier right after I just reread it. So it was okay. I know that they have some other ones, other classics that they've done this for. I'm not sure I'll read another one, but it was interesting, and I'm glad I kind of gave that a shot from the library, so I didn't pay for that. And then I picked up another audiobook after finishing those Jane Austen books. Just on a whim, I was scanning my Library Libby app for something else, and The Regency Years popped up by Robert Morrison. So this was narrated by Chris MacDonald, and I really enjoyed this nonfiction. So this says, during the Regency Years, during which Jane Austen writes, Napoleon fights, Byron makes love, and Britain becomes modern. And I thought this was really a good kind of introduction to that age of showing different things that happened during it. Some of it I knew about, some I didn't. It's really interesting because some of the stuff I've read about in other nonfictions and stuff, so I recognize certain names. This definitely made me want to think about Byron more. I'm not into poetry, so that's why I've never read Byron or Percy Shelley. It talked about Mary Shelley, and it talked about a lot of the authors during that time, Sir Walter Scott, and things like that are all ones I want to kind of get more into, and I just haven't, because, I mean, Jane Austen to me is that period. Like, that to me is Jane Austen. And so I just haven't spread out, and I don't read a lot of poetry, which is probably why I haven't tried to read the other ones. But I also feel like I should read at least some Lord Byron and some Percy. I don't know. I haven't decided. Or I might get a nonfiction on them. I think there's books, they're the Romantics, so I think I might have to pick up some nonfiction just on them, because they were fascinating. I mean, I don't know a lot about them. I still don't know a lot about them, but the things that they mentioned in here about Byron and Shelley and things were very interesting. But I think this was a good overall view of the Regency years. I totally recommend this if you want to know more about that time period in England. And again, it focuses on a lot of the writers, but it also focuses on some of the technologies. It also focuses on the theater and on the way they dealt with crimes and things like that, and some of the uprisings that happened during that time because of labor and other things. It was really a really good nonfiction, and I'm glad I picked that up. Again, I said the audio, I just picked it up on a whim, and then I picked up the physical the same day. I started listening to it at work, and I requested the physical, and they had it, so I just went and got it right away. Just because there were pictures in here. So here's Lord Byron. So, and they have some things in here that it was interesting to look at. A lot of pictures like of commentaries of certain things that happened, you know, and is that, yeah, the Prince of Wales, like a whale, because he was so big. Anyway, anyways, this was not, this definitely, like, I knew that Jane Austen didn't like the Prince Regent very well. And again, this got more of why people didn't like him and why, but why his reign during this time is, you know, so different. And then things that, even though they didn't like him much. Anyway, I just thought this was a great nonfiction, and I definitely recommend it if you want to know more about that time period. I thought it was really good, and I picked it up on a complete whim that day at work. I decided to try it. And then, was it yesterday or Friday? No, Friday. I read Sweat and Soap, which is volume 1. This is by Kitesu Yamada. So this is a manga series from Japanese. This is translated. I don't know if I saw the translator on here. I don't see. Oh, there. Translated by Matt Trevald. So this is just volume 1. This is definitely an adult manga due to stuff in the content. I mean, it's just not a kid's one. Which is nice. I hadn't read an office one in a while. So this is a young woman who works at this place that makes these certain kinds of soaps and kind of things. And she loves them because she sweats a lot. She has a disorder kind of like that. She just over sweats. And so she's very conscious of the fact of her body smells and stuff. So she likes all their products. So she starts working for them. And she meets the guy who is like the head product manager, or the one who comes up with the different products, and he likes her smells. Anyway, it's cute. I wasn't sure at first because I started reading it. I'm like, I don't know about this, but I think it is really cute. She has a lot of insecurities, and he doesn't quite get some of them, but he's really sweet about trying to learn. And I just liked him because I like him because he just likes her. You know, he's pretty honest about it and pretty open about it. And I just thought it was a really good, as I said, it's more an adult title. And I hadn't had one for quite a while. So I did ask for the second one from my library, but they only have like one copy of every issue, or every one. So it's going to be like probably like a month and a half, because I'm number 3 on one copy. So anyway, but I did find a manga that I do want to continue. We'll see what happens if I like the second one, and I will continue from there. We will see. So let's talk about the books I'm in the middle of. Just to mention, the other manga that happened to come in was Cat Gamer. So this is by Wataru Nadatani. So again, this is also Japanese. Oop, where's my little, this one was, this one doesn't, it doesn't have the translator. Well, I don't know who the translator is on this one, but anyway, so this is the first one, and this has to do with a young woman in an office situation. So again, these are both more adult, I'm trying to find manga that I'll really enjoy. Anyway, so this one I've heard about because it had the cat. Anyway, so this one is, I don't remember what her name is, Riko. And so she goes to her job, does her 8 hours, and then she runs. She doesn't want any overtime. So this is very different from a lot of Japanese culture. They do they think they should do overtime and work all the time. But she like wants to do her 8 hours and get out. So I totally relate to her. And at the very beginning, she gets a stray cat that somebody found in the parking lot. So I just got to the part in here. Again, I just started it yesterday. So I didn't have time. I was reading something else. And I just wanted to see if I wanted to keep this, because again, I was going to the library today. So I will keep it and read it this week, or read it probably in the next couple of days. But anyways, and she's a gamer. So sorry, did I not say that? Yeah. So she leaves work like at her 8 hours and goes home and games. And so I totally relate to that because I go home and read. So, and I do want to get back into my writing. So again, that kind of makes me think I should, you know, be prioritizing that. But it's more that thing of I want to do my 8 hours and get out. And I totally understand. So I am enjoying that. I didn't get very far. We'll see how I get to the rest, if I will continue on this one or not. I did pick up a library book, Pride and, oh, I don't know how to say this. Prescience? I don't know how you say that word. Looks to me like pre-silence, but I know that's not how you say that. Remember, you have to understand that I memorize words. I don't sound out words. I don't know how. Anyway, so this is a mystery. It's called that. And the subtitle is Or a Truth Universally Acknowledged. This is a Mr. and Mrs. Darcy mystery by Carrie Brebris. Anyway, I think I saw this on Janelle's Too Fond of Books. I'm not sure. She had so many mysteries. I can't remember if this is one of the ones I picked off of hers list or not. I can't remember, but if not, it was somebody else talked about it too. But you know, I have not been reading a lot of mysteries recently, and this is a little cozy for me. I don't think cozy mysteries are really what I'm looking for, but this is like the best retelling of Pride and Prejudice, the characters. This takes place right after the wedding. So, I mean, like the first scene is right after the wedding, at the wedding brunch or breakfast or whatever. And, and Elizabeth and Darcy, you know, it's like they're just married. And then there's these things. Caroline Bingley suddenly gets engaged that same day. So she kind of tries to steal their thunder. Anyway, I just really, the characters are so, this is like one of the best retellings that I've read in a really long time. Of the characters act like how I think they would, or how they mostly think of what I think they will. Not 100%. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But this is like one of the best of the retellings of how I feel Darcy and Elizabeth would handle a mystery situation. So things are happening once right after Caroline gets married. There are certain things that start happening. There's some wanderings, like sleepwalking. There's a carriage accident. There's what was the other thing? Oh, the horse bolts when she's on it. Certain things are happening. They're all kind of weird. And there's people who are not friendly to Bingley, and because of some things with his father and the business where their money comes from. And so, I mean, it's just a fun mystery so far. So I'm like, I was hoping to finish yesterday, but of course I didn't. So I have like 70 pages left. And so things are starting to ramp up. Something big happened just recently. So it's very interesting and twisty. I mean, I think I see what's going on, but I'm hoping for some kind of twist that maybe I didn't see it exactly, you know, so we'll see what happens. But even if I guessed everything by the way it wraps up, this is like, I feel sorry for Caroline in this book. This is like I really like poor Caroline Bingley in this book. Anyway, so I'm enjoying it. It's great. As I said, mystery is good. So I am reading that. I put the other Bennet sister aside this week. It's a slow read. So I'm only 40 pages in. I am going to try this week to focus on this after I finish that mystery and just try to read more of this. I think it's just so dense. The chapters are short, which is awesome. I mean, there's like 95 chapters in like this 480 page book. So they're really short chapters. So I might just have to read so many chapters a day to get this done until I get to the point where I want to read it all the time. But there's just, this one hurts, like, because this is a retelling of Mary Bennet, which is the middle sister in Pride and Prejudice of the Bennet sisters. And you just hurt for her. And it's just, it hurts me. Anyway, there's certain things that happen that just, yeah, they're just hurt. So I'm very early in it. I still haven't got to the part where Bingley has showed up. So it's pretty early. It's like kind of right before the book starts, I think, at this point. So I'm not very far. Anyway, as I said, I'm hoping to make progress this week in it. And as I said, I might have to figure out like how many pages per day I'm supposed to read, because I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a book I should read fast. And I'm not reading it fast. So I think I might have to break it up and try to mean, I'd like to say, oh, I'm going to read 100 pages, you know, every day until it's done, but it's not going to happen. So, but I am enjoying that. I'm just, it slowed me down. So I put it aside this week while I was doing a lot of rereading, and that kind of happened. Anyway. And then the other book that I think I'm 75 pages in. Oh, 86. So this is Jane Austen, A Life by Claire Tomlin. So this is my nonfiction, the physical one that I'm reading right now. So this is, again, on her life. And this is one I've had for a couple years that I picked up because of Kelly of books I'm not reading. So I finally got to this. I didn't get to it last year. So this year I am reading a chapter a day. So that I get it done by before the end of the month. Because I started a couple days into the month. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this one. Again, this is very minute of like her timeline. Like, so like I read earlier, the real Jane Austen by Paula Byrne, which is told all out of order and all about objects and things, and then talking about things about her life. This one's like, you know, in timeline, and we're getting to see what more stuff about her cousins and about her brothers and, you know, her parents, and kind of getting the full picture of not just Jane, but everybody related to her, and how those things could be related later into her novels. So, or, you know, how things that happened in her life and other people's lives might have leaked into that. So I think that's kind of where we're going towards this. But right now it's just really great. As I said, I'm not very far. I mean, I'm that far, so I have quite a bit more to go. But I am enjoying it. But I said, I only read a chapter a night. So it's usually between 8 to 16 pages usually is a chapter. Most of them, at least so far. So anyway, so I'm hoping I'll be still working on that. So now let's talk about my unrealistic things I think I'm going to read in the next week. I do still have 2 Jane Austen retellings that I'd like to get to this week. We'll see what happens. This is another one I blame Janelle at Too Fond of Books for. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure. So she had showed up at the copy. I think she was the one. God, I hope so. I hope I didn't remember that wrong. But she said that there was a Sanditon by Jane Austen and another lady. And so I picked it up on eBay. I paid $10 for this really old copy, but it's actually really put together well. It's not too badly, but it's old. I think it's 1974 or something like that. It was something in the 70s. It was 75, sorry. So anyway, so I'm going to be really careful when I read this, but I might read this. I kind of want to, because this is like taking the part from Sanditon, which I have somewhere over here, the partial that she was writing when she passed, and then somebody finished it. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. I hear good things about this version of how it goes, but I might get to this. If not, it'll be next year. But I did get that, so I'd really like to read that. I did get one more book from the library. I probably have another one coming. Actually, I probably have 1 or 2 more Pride and Prejudice retellings from the library. This one's called The Other Darcy. Unpredictable courtships appear to run in the Darcy family by Monica Fairview. So this is actually following Caroline Bingley and cousin of Darcy's, Robert Darcy, who is an American. And anyway, I read the first chapter just to see if I wanted to keep it. And I did like the prologue, really, where they meet under not so good circumstances, and then she doesn't forgive him for what he saw. And it's kind of, I think he right away likes her or something. I'm not sure. And then I think it's a little bit later that they meet again. Anyway, so I didn't read very much of it, but I just wanted to try it. So this one I picked up on a whim. I don't remember whose I saw this on. I don't know if I saw anybody. I don't know. So as I said, I've watched so many videos, and this one I can't remember. But it's not super long. Well, it's 350 pages. So we'll see. This is one of the library books, that's one I would probably like to get to. So I do, and then the other, like Jane Austen one, my friend let me borrow this a couple years ago, and because of COVID, I've not seen her since, but I think I read it that Jane Austen, so that was like 2 years ago or something. So I'm going to probably reread it again this year. I don't know if I'm going to watch the movie, but it has like, it has the screenplay written by Emma Thompson in this, and then it also has some of her notes from, I think, the filming, I believe. It's like diaries from bringing it together. So anyway, I thought I'd revisit it since I still have it, and I haven't seen my friend yet since COVID happened. So I think I'm going to try to read that. I would like to read The Vampire by John Polidori. This one has a lot of different short stories in it. I'm not going to read all those. I just want to read the 25-page The Vampire short story. Because I've never read it. And again, as I love vampire novels and I've read so many things, I just haven't read this one. And I've had this, again, probably on my shelf for a year or so. And so I would like to at least read that, because it was one of the stories from the night where, you know, Lord Byron wanted everybody to write ghost stories, and Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and John Polidori wrote The Vampire, which is kind of based off of a story that Byron was writing. So it's kind of like this interesting thing. So I'd like to read that at least this week. And then tomorrow at work, I'm going to try Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. I have it on audio. I don't actually know who yet on audio, but I got a version free at some point. And I thought I would just try it. So I don't know anything about Ivanhoe, except that it's like one of the later Waverley novels, I believe. No, maybe not. Maybe this is one of the different ones. Actually, I think this is one of the different ones. So it looks like it's something to do with Richard the Lionheart. I don't remember. I don't know, but we're going to try it. I'm going to give this a shot. If I don't like it, I don't like it. But I've never read Sir Walter Scott. And again, this is one of the ones I want to try. Yeah. So, and I do still have some other books that are in progress that I'd like to get back to, but I don't think I'll get to them this week. Pretty much what I want to do is this week is finish out as many of the Jane Austen things. And so that next week when I start The Hidden Legacy again, I might not be reading as much Jane Austen related works. I might switch over to reading other stuff. I think I'm going to burn out by the like pretty soon. So I want to get through a few more things like this week, but I'm not sure how much I'll get done. I mean, I think the Jane Austen A Life will take me most of the month, but I'm hoping to get the other ones done, and the other Bennett sister might carry over, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I need to get back to some other stuff. I think I need to switch up my reading here fairly soon, or else I would go into a slump, which I'd hate to do that. I haven't done one in a while, and I don't want one. So anyway, that was everything. Very chaotic. Sorry this is long. I had a lot of stuff that I had to get through because I read a lot of stuff. I reread a lot of stuff. It was really fun. Anyway, so we're just gonna quickly, my board, this is from last week. I've redone the board for the next 3 months. So I did 4 rereads because my 3 Jane Austen and Heartstone. What else did I do? I did a nonfiction with the Regency years. What else? And then I did 2 mangas, or did a manga. Oh, I continued a series because I read the novella for Hidden Legacies. So I think that's it. Should I count the classics? I mean, they're rereads, but I still read classics, right? So I'm just going to put them here. Why not? Why not? Well, that's the board so far. Yeah, that's anyway. So are you guys taking part in nonfiction November? Not, what month am I in? Jane Austen July. Are you guys, I don't know why, I think just because I mentioned it earlier, my brain. Are you taking part in Jane Austen July? Are you guys reading anything good? Are you reading any good retellings? Obviously, I really like retellings. And this is like, I read them all at this time. I really should space them out because they're fun. A lot of them are fun. And there are so many on my list I still want to read. And I have 3 of them on my shelf that I haven't even touched yet this year, which I'm probably not going to get to because I got too many library books. So we'll see. As I said, we'll see what happens. So let me know what you're reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.